why don't you fix it?
I will.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the show.
Crisscross applesauce.
I don't want to get in
Crisscross
I want my
applesauce.
coffee. Today, you can see we're in a state of disarray. We are going to share with y'all a little bit of the behind the scenes of building a fitness business, what went on in Q1 of 2023. You guys scooch over a little bit.
He's switching it. Look.
Oh, y'all just want to see
in the
how
center.
beautiful my hair is. Very cool.
All right, let's go through. Start with Ian, or if you have something to say, just spit it out.
Spit it out, Scott.
Like, what is something that we had to work through in Q1?
Can we do a brought to you by a sponsor? I've never done that before.
What?
Yeah, the podcast.
This podcast is brought to you by
Putman Restoration.
Putman Restoration.
Because that really fits into what's
going on out there right
now. All right, tell everybody what's going on right now.
All right, so this has been an absolute chaos in this gym the last 3.5 weeks. If you haven't been around. So basically what happened is the last couple of years we've been dealing with this building, and don't get me wrong, love this building, love what we built, but it's very old. The roof has had a lot of issues with leaks and whatnot. If you own a business, you understand that maintenance and building issues and all that, a lot of people don't talk about. And I think that's the crisscross.
And we don't even own the building.
If you already knew that, my ADHD is going to be so bad today. Anyway, so building has a lot of problems, but it's great. We love it, and they've done a really good job with it. So basically what we did is we took all the insulation out, spray foamed it, and then painted everything black, and
we
then
say
sealed everything.
We did not do
it. No,
but it looks so good, but people ran out of paint. And so we have been waiting for almost, 2.5 weeks now? Almost 2 weeks?
We're supposed to be in, last week?
It'll be 3 weeks by tomorrow.
Yeah.
3 full, business weeks that we've been out of the court.
In which basically all our court is shut down, which is a lot of revenue. Our leagues have been pushed back. It's been absolute chaos. And I think that's something a lot of small business owners don't take. You can plan all day long for contractors and all this stuff, but when it comes down to it, you're at the mercy of a lot of other people. And that is very frustrating as a small business owner when you're not a giant corporation that can shell out hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars or own the construction company. Like I know that some companies do. But anyway, so hopefully we are going to be back in Monday. It looks really good. We're getting everything cleaned up. It'll look like a brand new gym. We got a lot of cool things rolling out in May that I'm excited to talk about, but I can't talk about now. That's all I got.
Tell them real fast what Putt is doing for us.
So Putman Restoration, who guys, if y'all ever have a terrible disaster, flood or whatnot, they are
all
awesome.
Across the U.S.
They're huge.
They go everywhere.
Nationwide.
Putt is one of my favorite human beings. Their whole family, Sarah, Miles, Louie, they're just good human beings out of Shreveport. He's done a lot for Shreveport, and shout out to him for just being such an awesome human being. Putt basically is helping us out with, and again, I don't know the terminology for this, so forgive me, Putt. He's given us basically a bunch of devices that help clean the air, filter things out. They look like
scrubbers.
They're called scrubbers. They look like
the ones upstairs.
They look like disco machines.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I've only seen the ones downstairs, and they look like fans that are different. Yeah, black light fans.
Yeah,
we're about to have a rave.
The rave, literally.
Yeah.
But anyways, it looks fantastic. It's helping us out, so we really appreciate Putt because, again, I think like everybody knows that listens to this podcast, when you're a small business, you got to help out other small businesses. You got to take care of people, and that's what we're trying to do here. It's what we're trying to promote in TTG because Shreveport needs help, and Bossier needs help too.
Don't forget Bossier.
Don't forget Bossier.
Shout out
Oh
Bossier.
man!
All right, so Q1, right?
Yeah.
Are we having a recap?
Yeah.
So January, I came on.
That's right.
That was exciting.
That was
really good.
Oh my God, you've been a lifesaver.
All right.
I wouldn't say a lifesaver.
Not a lifesaver.
Right.
He's
I
been
was your first lifesaver. And
That's
fair.
Maybe I'm a whole boat. Maybe I'm not just
You're
a
a boat.
lifesaver, like a lifeboat.
You are the mediator between the two of us, which is why you're
that's fair.
sitting in the middle.
Right.
It's good to have a medium. You know what I mean? In business, you got to have somebody that can kind of translate language sometimes.
That's tough.
Even if everybody speaks English.
It's tough to do between some of us here. Interpreting is a difficult job.
Damn right.
No,
I'm so sorry.
it's okay.
All right,
Q1. Let's see. I came on. Danny had surgery.
I did.
Yeah.
That was January.
That was January.
Shout out Shane Barton.
Yeah. Thanks for fixing Fanny's shoulder.
Yep, he did
Look
good.
at
Look at that range of motion.
It's almost there.
Getting there.
Got work on a little rib flare going on right there.
So we
I
figured
have
that
so
out.
many
We
issues.
figured that out.
What?
Remember? She told me she had an injury.
A rib injury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't tell us that.
And she was
When I
a
was
gymnast.
a teenager,
Yeah.
I was doing a back bend and I pushed my shoulder so far over my wrist that my rib popped. what did I say? I thought the cartilage
like the
pulled away.
costochondral cartilage
Wow.
separates.
You can feel it. It's awkward.
So the crazy part with that is, and again, anybody listening to this, so rib position of the bottom ribs or the bucket handle ribs, which I wish I could grab my little skeleton guy and bring him over here, or these guys are basically, if you look at the video right now, God, that's crazy looking. ISA. So your infrasternal angle, right, is here.
Wide ISA.
I'm a huge wide ISA. It has a big role to play in terms of your basically everything mechanics wise, because if your rib position is wide, you tend to basically be in a more ER position.
External rotation.
Yeah, I need to probably say that instead of being so anatomical.
Yeah, I'm interpreting.
There you go. Your pelvis is in a forward position, and basically it puts you in this not the best position to train. And so Danye, if she does have a real wide ISA, which I don't think she does, I think she's narrow, but you have a rib positioning that's different than the other side, or not in the most, I guess, ideal position, it can influence everything top down.
It just makes sense that now for the last 15, 17, 18, 20 years, I have moved the right shoulder in the wrong way.
Yeah, 100%. And most people do.
So I'm like relearning how to lift my arm. Like my left side can go straight up. Right. I'm like, it doesn't move. It doesn't go that way.
So not only are we like trying to correct the stiffness and decreased range of motion from surgery, but we're trying to correct faulty movement patterns from even prior to surgery. Mm-hmm. So, and that's something that people don't recognize even after surgery. They don't know how they're moving. They're not trained to know that. So,
and that's why our eval is so great, because we try to scan for that kind of stuff. And then while training, promote better position and promote what's called the ZOA, or zone of apposition. And I guess randomly, just before we go off on another quarter topic. So ZOA, guys, is kind of fascinating. So basically, if I take Scott's drink, my drink, I don't know if you can see this, and Danny's coffee.
Don't you spill it.
Everything's on top of each other, right? So the idea with a ZOA, or zone of apposition, is that you want everything from the top bottom. Like if I put water on the top of that coffee cup, it would go out the middle of my cup. And most people end up being like this. So they're all shifted, which can create a lot of problems. There's we need to have a longer podcast about that, because I know some people are listening here right now and they're probably like, but what about athletes that are in this crazy position when they pitch? And it's a long story. But overall, a better zone of apposition is better for the human body in terms of movement.
All right, so back to Q1. Yeah.
Oh my
so
God,
January.
bad today.
Yeah.
Surgery.
Yep. Surgery. So that's been interesting, because not only was I out for the first week of January for a wedding in California, but then I was out for basically a week from surgery, and then
I was new,
and he was brand new. Danny's out, and even when I was back here, I was not in full capacity for probably a good 3-4 weeks, and I've just kind of been hiding in my cave of an office, doing a ton more admin than I usually do, which has been wonderful, but at the same time, it's left some people hanging a little bit. You figured it out.
Hanging on.
They figured it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the good news, that we have a pretty good team here, and we try to communicate the best. But again, we're always going to have
even if you plan ahead for that. Like, I mean, we knew for at least a couple months that like I was going to have some sort of surgery. It doesn't help once it gets it doesn't make it any easier.
Right.
100%.
So yeah, so that was big.
Right. February. What happened in February?
Well,
something else, right?
QuickBooks Online.
QuickBooks.
Oh my
that's
God.
Frustrating.
I have over the last several weeks, every person I've talked to who has dealt with QuickBooks Online, business owners and CPAs, accountants included, everybody hates it. It's awful. Sorry if you're listening to this and you love it. I can't understand it. Maybe it's great for somebody who wants to deal with accounts receivable and invoice payments and deposits. And like we were getting a lot of double payments showing up on our P&L, which is really not great for budgeting purposes and projections and understanding what's truly happening in your business. So that has been like an uphill battle, and we've decided to just go back to using Square for our invoicing. Yeah. So we're using QuickBooks for our bookkeeping, which is fine, but we have decided to keep it separate from our invoicing and payment system. And it's going to be fine, but we've spent way more time trying to fix that and figure it out than I ever wanted to. Yeah. So unfortunately, hindsight 2020, like we spent a lot, I spent a lot of hours that I could have been doing something else on bookkeeping. So,
but we learned from it.
We learned from it, and it's going to be more simple going forward. But we were doing some trial and error to figure out how can we spend less money on fees, and Square fees are, granted we don't have anything else to compare it to, but they're rather high. And
we have some ideas though.
We have some ideas, but like my brain needs a break from trying new things at the moment. So we'll try something new in the future. But yeah, we tried something new. It didn't work. Going back to what we know works, and we'll try something new again later.
Right.
And then we got March. What happened in March? Oh, this drama happened in March.
Yeah.
The fact that we've been out of our business and in a cement dust, random building, trying to train, which we've done well, but it's been chaos. I'm going to Japan in 14 days, 13 days.
You have a countdown somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
Well, and I think a big thing that's been on our minds, not just this quarter, but I feel like for the last years, we've had really significant growth in our clientele. And so we are constantly on the search for how do we want to expand? When do we want to expand? Where do we want to expand? Do we want to purchase a building? Do we want to buy a building? Do we want to rent a space? Do we want to expand the space that we're currently renting? And we've looked at buildings, we've worked with an architect, we've done a lot of different things, and the right spot just hasn't quite popped up yet. So
but
been
in May we got something really cool that I'm really excited to talk about and get going, but we just can't say it yet. So we have been working on a really cool project with somebody else in Shreveport that's going to be, I think, a game changer for us and for them especially. So shout out to
and which kind of brings us into, like, not only did you come on board, but like you're a physical therapist, and we didn't have that.
Correct.
We didn't have access to that before. No. So that is a really cool avenue. And even though we're working on the whole insurance thing and getting that piece of it up and running, you being able to help out our clients in a way that Ian and I cannot has been a game changer. So
it's been really fun. Cool. It's been really fun to integrate everything and all work together. And,
yeah, it's a project. Yesterday, right? We had a lady from Colorado that came in with basically really, really tender elbows. An older lady, shot like 25 plus, as I always tell her. By the way, guys, trainers, just if you're listening to this, if you work with anybody above the age of 50 or 55, especially a woman or whatnot, do not be like, oh, because you're 68 or 70. I always say this joke, and I've done it since I was just a beginning trainer. I always will look at a woman and say, well, because you're 25 years old and getting older. And every time I get a smile, every time I get a laugh.
Stop hitting the floor.
I like hitting the floor.
Yeah, but you're messing up my sound.
But I need to make sure they understand that you need to make sure your clientele you're always giving some type of positive reinforcement and a positive, because they know they're getting older. They know their body's getting more difficult to move. And it's very awesome to promote, just compliment somebody. Doesn't mean it has to be something weird or something crazy, but I love going back to little jokes like that. And it always works. And it kind of keeps the culture uplifting and positive. I'm tired.
Thanks for that.
What else we got?
There's a Starbucks down the street now.
Huh? That was
back
to the
So, see, this is how bad when chaos hits. My brain's like everywhere.
Goodness. So the lady came in. We worked with her, and she basically, after she works out, anytime she extends her elbow, goes into flexion, or her arm goes forward. After the workout, she gets really tender elbows. So I got Scott up there. And basically, for tendon and ligament strength, the idea is you can do what's called a lot of isometrics. Isometrics being something that doesn't move. So if I take my hand like here, if you're watching the video, I take my opposing hand and I push down and I resist my hand going up, but nothing is moving. That is an isometric. So we do a lot of isometrics for knee health here at TTG. And me and Scott basically came up with this plan for this lady, for her elbow, to do all this flexor, extensor, work for her elbow. Scott's going to do some tissue work, which I do want to have a whole podcast about soft tissue work, because I think that's a big game changer as well. Shout out, we need a manual therapist. And she loved it, and it worked out really well, and she didn't have any pain after the workout, which was, a game changer. So we love that word. I know where I got that word. Do y'all know where I got that word?
It doesn't matter right now.
Got that word from Eric Cressy. Yeah, Cressy used it all the time, Eric.
He's our game changer.
Yeah. So you're our game changer.
Thanks.
Lifeboat game changer.
Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap us up for today. If you want to make sure you get podcast notifications, text the word podcast to this number, 833-432-2161, and we will send you guys a message every time we release a new episode. We're on a good roll here. We're going to release episodes every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. So go subscribe to your favorite podcast app. You can do Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor. There's like 10 different places you can find this podcast. So go find us there. And you can also respond or text us at that number and let us know what topics you want to hear about or what questions you have when it comes to nutrition or fitness or health or physical therapy or anything in that realm. So
we need a little song that goes at the end.
Yeah.
TTG Podcast. Goodbye. See, that worked.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you on the next episode. And we're going to do these business type episodes about once a quarter and kind of give a review of what's going on and what to expect in the future and kind of what we're working through. So that's it for now. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
TTG Podcast.
Bye.
That was nice. That was pretty good. That was good.